normalize the bulge. We are normalizing the bulge. Women can have bulges, and that's okay. We're not going to stare at their crotches while they're wearing their little shopping shorts at the mall. Oh, thank you. Love you. Bye.
One more time.
Normalize the bulge.
Normalize.
We are normalizing the bulge. Women can have bulges, and that's okay. We're not going to stare at their crotches while they're wearing their little shopping shorts.
Okay, we're done. We're done. I know the arguments, people. I know the arguments. Pay them no attention, and that way they don't get what they're after. It's like that episode of The Simpsons. How do you deal with those massive media statues that came to life in one of the Halloween episodes? Just don't look. Just don't look. Why am I bringing this up? It's not to continue to poke fun at Dylan Mulvaney, because I'm still convinced it's a shtick. In an ordinary, sane universe where people would regard it as a shtick, it would actually be kind of funny. I'm not bringing it up because Dylan Mulvaney is milking it like a Holstein. I'm not going to call Dylan Mulvaney a grifter because I don't think he's creating drama in order to profit from it. He certainly has seen an opportunity and he has seized it. He has seized it so well that he is now, I mean, the woman spokesperson, what the hell, I don't even know what it's called. Not just for Bud Light. We saw that collab on April 1st, and it was so natural and organic, people thought it was an actual April 1st, April Fool's joke. Nike. He's now doing Nike women attire. He is the spokeswoman for Nike women. He has seen his opportunity. He's going to milk it. He's going to take it and laugh all the way to the bank, as I'm sure he's doing. But why am I bringing it up today? Viva, use a Sharpie. I'm gonna star this comment and get to it in a second. Why am I bringing it up today? Because of the Nike alliance, but not to poke fun at the alliance. Companies want to do things that are going to piss off their base. More power to them. And actually, oddly enough, if their base likes it, if their consumers like it, more power to them. I am not a woman. I happen to be married to one. I happen to have 2 girls among my 3 kids. I don't find it cool or hip that a biological male who has made his shtick about mocking gender stereotypes, if it were comedy, it would be fine. But to the extent I'm supposed to take it seriously and say, I now have to refer to a man with a bulge as a she. And by the way, clown world in which we live, I am seriously expected and almost browbeated, publicly shamed into being compelled to refer to Dylan Mulvaney or Dylan Mulvaney's penis as her penis, as she has a penis. This is the world in which we're living. That people are being browbeaten and canceled for not referring to something as her penis or she has a penis. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's like a flat mountain. It's like a jumbo shrimp. It's not even, no, that would be an oxymoron. It's a contradiction. It's a linguistic impossibility. Save and except for the most obscure, astronomically rare conditions. And even then, I do wonder how biologically one would refer to, they're called intersex. A biological woman born with what appears to be a male genitalia. I don't even think in that astronomically rare medical situation, you would refer to it as her penis. I think you would say it is something resembling. I don't know. But we are to be expected to refer to a grown adult male with a penis as a bulge, her penis. She has a penis. There's nothing weird or absolutely insane about that. Okay, that's one thing. The Nike partnership. Part of me, no matter how cynical you get, you're still being naive. Lily Tomlin, it's my banner on Twitter, and I will not be changing it for a while. Okay, it's opportunism. Bud Light, I don't know what they're thinking in terms of who they're appealing to with the brand ambassadorship of Bud Light and Dylan Mulvaney. I don't know what they think it even does to the image of their product. let's just say you thought it was a good idea. What are you saying about Bud Light by teaming up with a man who is dressing up like a woman? What do you think you're saying about your product? It's an inclusive product, and this. All right, I presume Bud Light knows who their demographic is, and I presume, I don't know for certain, I presume their demographic is not women to begin with. I presume that because Bud Light has a number of other products which I presume were targeted to a female demographic. The lime flavored beer, some of their stuff is very, very bizarre, but if anyone likes it, more power to them. Those are they know their demographics. They know who buys what age group, who is their demographic for Bud Light. I don't think it's women to begin with. What are they saying about their own product when they make a brand ambassadorship like this? What are they doing to the demographic that they know are the consumers of their product? Okay, whatever. If they say it's a business decision, it's their decision to make and others to object to. The Nike one. The Nike one, where no matter how cynical you are, it's tough to keep up. Let me bring this up here in terms of understanding. Here we go. Yeah. The timing of the Nike partnership. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. I wish I could do this faster. Now I'm losing the punchline. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. As to the Nike partnership, it coincides with, I didn't even realize it, because some people might not even know that this movie called Air is about Nike Air and they're courting Michael Jordan for the first, I think it was like the first partnership between a company and an athlete, Nike Air. It's a weird thing that they happen to be running this partnership with Dylan Mulvaney, which is generating publicity for good or for bad. But as the old expression goes, there's no such thing as bad publicity. It's generating publicity for Nike. Right about the time they have this movie coming out, which I'm not sure how many people have heard of this movie. Everyone's talking about Air movie. Don't miss the film now playing only in theaters. Get a ticket now. A slam dunk and best movie of the year with Ben Affleck. Fandango. And then what was the movie about? Do they even give it? I don't know if they even Courting a Legend is what it's called. It's about how Nike courted Michael Jordan. It's just, I'm sure the timing is just a coincidence. Up in arms, boycotting Nike, people, screaming and protesting and making noise on Twitter. I'm sure it's bad publicity for the movie that just came out, Air. All right, that was the intro. And we'll get that out of the way because the rest of it's actually going to be meaningful, substantive stuff, except just to say, like, we live in a world where we have to refer to people as having her penis. It's crazy. Normalize the bulge. Normalize the bulge. In that video, and I spared you all the longer version, Dylan Mulvaney says that his crotch doesn't look like the crotch of other women. Yep. Because I'm expected to say that that's because she has a penis. And I got to tell you this. I don't care. In the most tolerant and inclusive way possible, I do not care what adults do. It's not that I don't care about other people's religions. I don't care about it. It's that to each their own. Good for you if you're happy. Good for you if what you're doing is making you happy in life. And if it's not, I do wish happiness on people. I don't care about things that other grown adults do to the extent that they don't impact, affect, hurt other people. I'm not so convinced that what Dylan Mulvaney is doing right now is not hurting other people. In fact, I'm fairly certain it is. I'm fairly certain it is hurting children, impressionable youth, confusing people, teaching people to be empowered by superficial methods of getting attention, getting recognition. Dylan Mulvaney, what Dylan Mulvaney does with himself, that's none of my business, and I don't care. But what he does on a bullhorn that has a negative impact on other people, then it does unfortunately become the interests and the concerns of other people. Now, getting into the show. Algebra Cabin Man. My grandmother would call this the, quote, red guard, end quote. I am only 28 years removed from socialism. The cultist hegemony will do literally anything to push the state-sponsored narrative. And this is the other question that I'm asking. Why the hell is all of this happening now? Drag shows for kids, transgenderism. How? It can't be organic because it's not organic. It's like it's like a pump and dump of a stock. It's not organic. It's visually, psychologically, spiritually, culturally not organic. What the hell's going on? Just like that. Just like that. COVID hysteria, Ukraine hysteria, trans hysteria, drag hysteria. Just like that. And we're to believe it's organic progress? It's not. Algebra Cameraman, thank you very much for the $10 super chat. We are simultaneously streaming on the Rumbles, or at least we should be. Going to refresh, make sure everything is good there. We are. We are also simultaneously streaming on the Locals. I made the mistake. I didn't realize Barnes is live with the Duran right now. And if anybody wants to go watch that and come back to this later, I think you should do that. This will be around later. I've been noticing that a lot of the views on these streams have been coming after the stream is live anyhow. The live part is only fun for the interaction, but afterwards you can come back for the information. It's going to be good. Today, what do we have on the menu? What shirt? Did I wear this shirt yesterday? If I wore it yesterday, I'm not even sure that I washed it. What do we have on the menu for today? We're going to have some Trump stuff, some Stormy Daniels stuff. We're going to have that Kansas bill stuff because now, the Kansas bill. Authorizing genital inspections bill. It's the Don't Say Gay bill iteration 2.0. What else? Oh, the camera's back on tracking. I thought I solved this problem. Clarence Thomas. I can't ignore the story because I know that if I saw this story for someone who I should be ideologically disaligned with, I would jump on it. I looked into this story about Clarence Thomas' alleged improprieties, lack of ethics, taking undisclosed gifts from somebody. There's a little bit more to the story. Look at that. The stupid schnook Canadian just asks the obvious question. If something like this was going on, how could it have been going on without anybody knowing for so long? Oh, wait a minute. Lo and behold, there's nothing new about this story. That's not to say there's nothing wrong with the story. There might still be. But typically, if something has been wrong for over a decade, someone would have found the illegality or the lack of it. We'll get to it. Clarence Thomas. I forget what else it is. What do we want to start with? People? Let me see. Oh, yeah, by the way, so that's the other thing. No medical advice, no legal advice, no election fortification advice. YouTube Super Chat. YouTube takes 30% of that. If you want to support the channel, you can go over to Rumble, which is where I suggest you go because we're going to end up there anyhow exclusively. They have Rumble rants. For the rest of 2023, 100% goes to the creator, but typically Rumble takes 20% of that. So still better for the creator, better for the platform to support a platform that actually supports free speech. You can go to vivabarneslaw.locals.com, become a member where you don't have to pay and you get tons of stuff, goodies, or you can be a supporter where you get tons of exclusive stuff, or just share, snip, clip, etc. But the most fun way to me is the merch store. I was wearing this shirt earlier today, but I sweat in this shirt and I don't like people seeing darker color gray under my armpits. You got your Will Be Wild, the words that got Trump in trouble, politics ruin everything. Oh, that's right. I ended up actually making a smart point that has come to fruition. So you can go to vivafry.com and get merch. Let's start with Clarence Thomas, actually, just so nobody says, Viva, you're doing the Clarence Thomas part exclusively on Rumble so that YouTube doesn't hear about it. No. I like Clarence Thomas ideologically. I don't know him as a person. I have no reason to believe he's a bad person on a personal level, but I don't know. I think I would have an inclination or an inkling to let him babysit my kids. That's the threshold that I typically use. He's got kids. He's got grandkids. Seems like a decent person on a personal level, but I don't know. On an ideological level, on a legal mind thinking level, I like Clarence Thomas. But there's been a bombshell. I mean, it's a flipping bombshell. It's going to upend the Supreme Court. People are now chanting for the resignation of Clarence Thomas. Where was it? Where did it come from, this article? Here. They're chanting for Clarence Thomas to withdraw, resign from the Supreme Court. What would happen if that happened? Well, they'd appoint a Democrat. They would appoint a liberal judge, and then the balance would tip. So, I'm sure the timing is coincidental. But you still, after attacking motive, pro publica, that's who it was. After attacking motive, and you can attack it all you want, at the end of the day, you have to say, are the allegations true? And if they are, what is the impact of the allegations? ProPublica comes out with an expose. Okay, this layout is super confusing. What just happened? Dude, refresh. Okay, so Okay, ProPublica, for over 20 years, Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas has been treated to luxury vacations by billionaire Republican donor Harlan Crow. It's off to a bad start. I don't like the way that looks. He goes on cruises in far-flung locales on Crow's yacht, flies on his private jet, and keeps company with Crow's powerful friends at the billionaire's private resort. It's almost like powerful, connected people have powerful, connected friends. I don't like the way this looks, by the way. I don't like the fact that allegedly, according to this article, the gifts, the vacations were not disclosed. I now have questions about that, but I don't like the optics any more than I liked it when Justin Trudeau was taking undisclosed, undeclared trips to the Aga Khan's private island while the Aga Khan was petitioning the federal government for tens of millions of dollars in aid and getting it. And it led to an ethics conviction against Justin Trudeau. So let's just hear the substance. Clarence Thomas and the billionaire. In late June 2019, right after the Supreme Court released its final opinion of the term, Justice Clarence Thomas boarded a large private jet headed to Indonesia. He and his wife were going on vacation. 9 days of island hopping in a volcanic archipelago on a super yacht staffed by a coterie of attendants and a private chef. If Thomas had chartered the plane, whatever this is, the boat, it would have cost $500,000. Fortunately for him, it wasn't necessary. He was on vacation with the real estate magnate, Republican mega donor Harlan Crow, who owned the jet and the yacht too. And we got some pictures. Look at this. Good journalism, ProPublica. For more than 2 decades, Thomas has accepted luxury trips virtually every year from the Dallas businessman without disclosing them. Okay, I'm piecing it together in my head in real time right now. Without disclosing them, documents and interviews show. A public servant who has a salary of $285,000, he has vacationed on Crow's super yacht around the globe, flies on his Bombardier jet. Yeah, he's gone to Bohemian Grove. Oh, no, I'm a little suspicious. The all-male retreat, yada, yada, yada. To the extent and frequency of Crow's apparent gifts to Thomas have no known precedent in the modern history of the U.S. Supreme Court. Remember this, people. This article just came out. It's a bombshell. April 6th. That's today. This article is a bombshell. These trips appeared nowhere on Thomas's financial disclosures. That's a serious allegation. His failures to report the flights appear to violate a law passed after Watergate that requires justices, judges, members of Congress to disclose most gifts, 2 ethics lawyer experts said. He also should disclose the trips on his yacht, these experts said. Okay, he didn't respond to a detailed list of questions. So it goes on. Crow is a billionaire conservative donor, powerful person, and from the looks of it, no. From the looks of it, Justice Clarence Thomas is well-connected, close friends with this guy. And these are very, very damning, potentially illegal. I mean, what I love is they write the article and suggest, I think, what do they say? It appears to be illegal. Oh, here we go. That was it right there. These trips appeared nowhere. His failure to report these flights appears to violate a law. Appears to violate a law? Investigative journalism, I appreciate you have to weigh your words. You're nonetheless making something of a very serious accusation. Accusing him of having broken, it appears he's broken law. We're not taking any position. We're not really making that argument right now. 2 ethics laws said it. Okay. What did I find? Just I read this and I say it doesn't look good. I don't like it. By the way, I do happen to subscribe to the opinion as well that these types of gifts, there's no such really, very, very rarely is there such thing as a gift. Whether or not it's an investment, whether or not it's buying a good grace. I'm skeptical of these things in general. That being said, it appears as though Justice Clarence Thomas has a long-lasting relationship with this individual, one that was known, at the very least, for decades, for reasons extremely similar to the reasons detailed in this argument, in this article. This is from the New York Times, which I can't read it. When was it from? June 18th, 2011. Let's just go to archive and put this in here. It should give it to us. This is from New York Times archive 6 years ago. Friendship of justice and magnate puts focus on ethics. This is June 18, 2011. Now remember what that article said. Undisclosed financial trips, vacations, etc., etc. I'll get to another one because the New York Times is the biggest one. There was another article blog that was a little more detailed. Clarence Thomas was here promoting his memoir a few years ago when he bumped into his grandmother. Okay, I want to get to the. Oh, here we go. I have to read that. He bumped into Algernon Varn, whose grandfather once ran a seafood cannery that employed Justice Thomas's mother as a crab picker. Mr. Varn lived at the old cannery site, a collection of crumbling buildings on the salt marsh. Yeah, that's very poetic. Okay, yeah. The justice asked about his plans for the property. Mr. Varn said he had hoped it could be preserved. And Clarence said, well, I've got a friend I'm going to put you in touch with. Mr. Varn recalled, adding that he was later told by others not to identify the friend. The publicity-shy friend turned out to be Harland Crow, a Dallas real estate magnate and a major contributor to conservative causes. Mr. Crow stepped in to finance the multi-million-dollar purchase and restoration of the cannery, featuring a museum and the culture and the history, yada, yada, yada. The project throws a spotlight on an unusual and ethically sensitive friendship that appears to be markedly different from those of other justices on the nation's high court. The two men first met in the 1990s. Since then, Mr. Crow has done many favors for the justice and his wife, Virginia, helping finance a Savannah Library project dedicated to Justice Thomas, presenting him with a Bible that belonged to Frederick Douglass, reportedly providing $500,000 for Mrs. Thomas to start the Tea Party-related group. They have also spent time together at gatherings of prominent Republicans and business people at Mr. Crow's Adirondacks estate, yada, yada, yada. Let me see. I think the word vacation. That same week, where Crow's family owns luxury vacation properties. The author was a prominent lawyer. What's the bottom line in all of this is that they've known what the allegations are in this article at least since 2011, and even by then it seems that they have known about it for at least 2 decades. Convenient timing? Convenient timing for a smear? There's an interesting thing about when you've been in the world of viral videography for as long as I have. I'm saying that glibly and tongue-in-cheek. It's a known fact, like collective memory is short. The internet's collective memory is also short. You can remake a video that went viral 5 to 7 years ago, and it'll go viral again because it's a new generation of people. It's a new set of eyes. They don't remember the original one, but it originally went viral for a reason, because it tapped into something of a universal element of human consciousness. Cute dog videos go viral, and some videos go viral just because they're amazing. They're cute. They capture natural phenomena. You could recreate those things every so often because a new generation of people who haven't seen the original will come into the market and will be equally turned on by it because it turned on people 5 to 7 years earlier. Is Clarence Thomas not allowed to have friends? So there's a generation of people who don't know that this was known material over a decade ago and had been known for over a decade. And my inkling, by the way, in all of this, let me just bring up the second one because it's shorter and it'll illustrate the point a little more thoroughly. That's the ProPublica. A ProPublica. This one was a blog. I don't remember whose blog it was. Oh, come on, Dave, get your stuff together. I'm going to have to go here and get the blog. I am live, sir. I'm live now. You have to leave. The dog pooed. Okay, go get out and close the door. Here, let me just get the other article. Dog, the amount of if dogs carried toxoplasmosis, my goodness. Here it is. This is the older blog. June 20, 2021. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas is back in the spotlight for his relationships with conservative business leaders and for possible inaccuracies on his financial disclosure forms. This is 2011 that these issues were brought up. I presume that if Clarence Thomas had done anything improper at that point, it would have been remedied for the past and certainly corrected for the future. And I presume also that if he had done anything bad in between this article, June 20, 2011, and today, somebody would have found it out. The New York Times story reported the detail of the friendship. Okay, there we go. In January, Thomas amended 13 years worth of his financial disclosure forms to reflect income earned by his wife, Virginia, after Common Cause complained that he had omitted her past salary from the Heritage Foundation and other sources. Thomas blamed a misunderstanding on the filing instructions. This is going to lead us into the Trump indictment and Stormy Daniels' wonderful take on it. The story has renewed calls by liberal advocacy groups for legislation that would place Supreme Court justices under the same code of conduct imposed on lower court federal justices. Currently, justices comply voluntarily. So it seems, even according to this article, It wasn't illegal back then. And then the friendship between Thomas and Crow has triggered controversy before. We wrote about the relationship in June 2002 after Thomas reported he'd received a gift from Crow valued at $19,000. This is all on Twitter, people, and I'll post it to our vivabarneslaw.locals.com community afterwards. But wow, it's like, I thought it was a bombshell. I thought they just discovered that Clarence Thomas has definitively broken ethics laws. And oh no, it's been known for over a decade. And they're only making a stink of it now because they know there's a lot of people who have never heard of this, who are now going to mobilize with this new information because, hey, everything is new to those who don't understand history. And they're going to try to use it as a pretext to coerce, pressure, or make a movement. If they can't get Clarence Thomas off the Supreme Court, by the way, what do you think they're going to do with it? They're going to pivot this into the excuse to pack the Supreme Court. Although they're not packing the Supreme Court, according to one hack, they're enhancing the Supreme Court. This is going to be used as a pretext to pressure Clarence Thomas to resign. And when he obviously does not resign because A, there doesn't seem to be anything new here, and B, even if there is, it doesn't appear that there's anything unethical. Well, doesn't appear there's anything illegal or statutorily unethical. When he doesn't resign, because he's not going to resign, they're going to use this as the argument to enhance the Supreme Court, to pack it, to add 2 more liberal judges so they can take over the majority. That's what's going to happen. Calling it now. Booyakasha. Okay, I don't know what's going on in the chat there. All that I'm going to say now is we are going to head over to Rumble. Let me give you the link one more time. That's the intro. Clarence Thomas. Didn't look good. And I just asked I just Googled him. Who's Harlan Crow? Never heard of him. Come on, camera. See, I don't understand this flipping camera. Now it's not moving. Okay, now come down. There you go. I didn't know who Harlan Crow was. I Googled it for exactly 2 seconds and found out that not only is this news not news, what is being suggested in the article, although cloaked under the guise of an opinion, cloaked under the semblance of an opinion, is arguably defamatory. Okay, people, let's do it. Move on over to Rumble. We're going to end on YouTube here. We're going to talk Stormy Daniels, Donald Trump. There was something else, I forget which. Okay, ending on YouTube in 3, 2, 1.